So what I've done so far is I've removed the spoiler slash dam. I think they call it a spoiler. I would say probably more like a firewall to protect the coils from, you know, getting too hot. Now, all I've done so far is just drop the coils off, which is one bolt on this side, which drops that clamp, and you can get that guy down. You don't need to go any further with that. That will stay in place. You can still access everything. Now, to get this guy out, there's 2 bolts on the back side. So as you can see, one just there and exactly the same on the other side, and one at the top up here for the inside edge. As you can see just there, you can just loosen that and take it off. So that's it, and you can pretty much get it out. But before you do that, obviously you need to take off 2 wires and a pipe. As you can see, mine's pretty damaged on one side and it's missing that whole chunk on the top on the other side. But what I'm going to do now is I've already loosened this off. This is the temperature sensor. So I've got the new one here, which is just here. It's a tiny little thing compared to the old one, the stock one. So I'll take this guy out. All you need to adapt the new one, obviously there's a big size difference between the two. So you just need a reducer or I think it could be a bush. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. But basically I got one from my local nut and bolt shop. They're pretty easy to find. I think it must be a standard thing for a lot of bits and pieces. So that will take place of this, and then this can screw straight back in there. So it's perfect. That'll fit perfectly. It is a tapered thread, this guy. So all you need to do is put some Teflon tape on this and then screw that into the back until it gets tight, and just do it a tiny bit more. Don't overdo it. You know, it doesn't have to go all the way through into the end. So just something to mention. Now the rubber that I'm going to use to replace this rubber here, I've already got a template. This stuff here is the rubber I'm using. It's a 3mm. I think this is like 1.5 or something. So I'm beefing it up a little bit, and this stuff is like UV protected. It's chemical resistant. Can also withstand 125 C degrees. So that is intense. I don't think the engine's going to get anywhere near that. Well, let's hope it doesn't anyway. This here is the template that I found online. I just did a quick check and it's almost perfect. So to put this onto the actual rubber, all I'm going to do is cut this out, trace it onto the rubber, and then cut the rubber out with a Stanley knife. And then obviously use I might, if I have the right size punches, I might punch these out rather than try and cut them by hand. But before I do that, I need to actually disassemble the other one, which means drilling out the rivets. So let's do that. So with the replacement of the rubber, you can use polyurethane, you can use silicone. This stuff here is called nitrile. It's 3mm thick. It can handle UV, it can handle chemicals as well as the high temperatures. So it's going to be perfect for what we need, and hopefully it lasts just as long as the original Honda one. So these guys are starting to get that wrinkled effect that we're after, and I'm not too concerned about these ones because this is just obviously you know, going to be above the engine. You're never going to see it. So if you're a heavy-handed painter, this stuff's definitely the way to go if you want that wrinkled effect. You're meant to do 3 heavy coats, vertical, horizontal, and then diagonal, and by the time you do the last coat, that's when the actual wrinkled effect comes out after a period of time. You can speed it up by using a heat gun. That's what I did when I painted these guys. As you can see, that's what it should look like when it's finished. It's never going to be perfectly even because obviously all these different edges and stuff, but it looks pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned, and it's fairly durable as far as I know, and can withstand a lot of heat. So now that I've completed this air dam slash spoiler firewall thing, I did a story on Instagram as I was building it, and I had a couple of comments come through and people say that they took them out. Now, I just wanted to explain a little bit about this thing, because if you do decide to take it out because it's obviously ugly and you just want it to clean up a little bit, it actually serves quite a decent purpose. Where it sits is smack bang in the middle of the engine. You've got your coolant lines running on one side and your coils on the other. As you can see, they bolt up just there like that. This coil here is so close to those lines that yeah, I wouldn't take it out. I wouldn't recommend taking it out. If you do, then you might not have problems straight away, but over a long period of time, I'm pretty sure this coil will get pretty damn hot. I'm sure Honda put it there for a reason. I rebuilt this one because I think it's totally necessary, and you can do whatever you want, but I just thought I'd share the process of how to do it in case you do decide to redo yours, in case yours is, you know, tethered and worn like mine was. So when I first tightened this one up by hand, it didn't look like it was going to go all the way. That's why I put Teflon tape on it. But now that it's touching the O-ring there has been squashed in, so the Teflon tape won't really be needed, but it's in there. And this guy here is nice and tight, so let's wire it up. The temperature sensor gauge, this is the guy that I went with. It's digital. I went this way because, for one, it's cheap. Two, it's actually small enough to fit where I need it to fit, and it's waterproof. So I'll show you where I'm going to put it. So where I want to mount this is visible to me, but not so much visible or out in the open to everyone else. I want to hide it away but still be able to see it. So where I've decided to put it is right here. It's because once the tank goes on, there's a bit of a gap and you can see straight down and see the top of the tank. But obviously this is rounded, it's never going to be able to sit there, so I'm going to make a little bit of a plate for it to sit on and weld it to the frame. And then once this is all painted and all smooth, I'm going to use the same adhesive tape that's used on badges and emblems of cars and just stick that down there. So should never move. Weighs about the same as a badge. Obviously I've just got to tuck the wiring in and get it all wired up and make it all nice and neat, but I think that's a perfect little spot for it. But before I do that, I'm just going to get the tank and put it on top and just make sure it is a perfect spot for it. So just to keep things nice and clean and simple, all I'll have to do now is just lean forward, and then there it is. I think it's a perfect spot for it. So how I'm going to level this out this way to make sure it's level with the bike is pretty much just sit this ruler on something that I know that's already level, so the underside of this, and then just put this on there and then just level it out. Done. What I'll do is I'll just put a couple of tacks on it on both sides, and then I'll do a little stitch, and that'll ensure that it's not going to move. I don't think it needs much more than just a tiny little stitch on each side, maybe one there and one at the top. The wiring on this, it's fairly simple. You've just got your power wire, which will just go straight up to where the actual gauge is. I'll just run that wire up through there, and then you've just got your sensor wire. They give you a ton of wire for that, so I'm going to probably work out exactly where that's going to run and then shorten it.